That familiar anxiety has probably happened to you too. The kind that sneaks up like a shadow, right when you're not paying attention, and falls over your life. That heavy, quiet feeling that shows up one night when you're alone, in your own solitude, when you feel like you've missed the train of life, like everyone else is speeding past you, and you're left standing alone in the middle of an empty station. Today, we want to look at this feeling together, but from a different angle. We want to pull this anxiety out of the heart of a real story. I want to take you into the world of a 28-year-old man, a man whose entire dream is to become a painter, because when he holds a brush in his hand, he feels something strange and powerful, something he wouldn't trade for anything else in the world. But there's one big problem. For years, he's had no income. His life goes on with financial help from his brother, and many times he goes hungry, just so that feeling of being a burden, that suffocating feeling, presses on him a little less. He knows there's no money to be made from these paintings, but he can't let them go, because they're the only thing that gives his life meaning. By the way, his name is Vincent van Gogh, the same man who sold only one painting during his entire lifetime. But today, one of his final works is valued at $117 million. Now pause for a moment. Is this worry really only yours? Is it true that after 30, we can no longer reach what we want? Or if we do reach it, does success no longer have that special feeling? And if that's the case, and what exactly did those people do, the ones who reached their peak after 30, 40, or even 50, that others couldn't? To find the answer, we first have to go into our brain and see how habits take root in the mind. To understand why we sometimes feel stuck and unable to change, we need to know this isn't a personal failure. It's a biological reality. In 2009, a psychologist named Lisa Feldman Barrett conducted a very interesting experiment. On the surface, it was simple, but its results were profound. She gathered two groups of people. The first group was young adults between 18 and 25. The second group was more experienced individuals between 35 and 50. Both groups were asked to learn a new path in a puzzle game. The rule was simple. Every time they made a mistake, they were told which path was correct. So what happened? The younger group learned from their mistakes very quickly and became skilled at the game. But the second group's story was a bit different. For some of them, even when you told them their path was wrong and showed them the correct one, it didn't help. They repeated the same mistake again. Why? Because their old mental pathways were so strong and so well established that their brains resisted building a new one. Look, inside our brain, there's something called stabilized neural patterns. When you repeat a certain thought or habit for years, your brain builds a 6-lane highway for it. Fast, easy, and automatic, without needing your attention. But when you try to introduce a new thought or a new habit, it's like trying to carve a muddy road through a dense forest with your bare hands. Just as hard, exhausting, and full of obstacles. Exactly like when you change your phone password after 5 years. For several days, you'll probably type the old password without even realizing it. That resistance, that difficulty, is completely natural. The brain needs a lot of energy to build new pathways. And that's why its first reaction is to say, forget it, let it go, it's too late for me. This resistance of the brain is a biological reality, but history is full of people who challenged that reality. People who not only smoothed the rocky road, but changed the entire map and redrew it from scratch. But how? This is where we arrive at a strange contradiction, the conflict between personal genius and the merciless clock of society. What made Van Gogh continue in his cold room? Kafka at his writing desk, Tesla in his laboratory, and Ferdowsi through those 30 years of isolation. It wasn't hope for fame, because none of them ever saw it. It was an inner obsession, an inner voice that couldn't be silenced. These were people who saw the world differently, but while they were alive, they were either ignored, mocked, or ultimately erased. So the question is, was the problem with them? Or was society unable to digest their genius? Look, the answer is not simple at all. Part of it goes back to within themselves, perhaps depression, perhaps immense mental pressure. But a much larger part comes directly from society itself. A society that expects you to reach everything on a fixed timeline. By 30, your career should be clear. By 35, you should be married. By 40, you should have bought a house. And if you fall even one step behind this schedule, you're very easily labeled a loser. Society is in a hurry, but a creative mind is not. Van Gogh painted more than 800 works. Ferdowsi spent 30 years of his life and his wealth. Kafka asked for his writings to be burned. They weren't chasing likes or applause. They were chasing something else. They were chasing meaning. There's an old and beautiful saying that goes, "A society reaches maturity when its people plant trees, knowing they will never sit in their shade." These people were doing exactly that. They were working for a future they might never see themselves. But what if someone says, "I want to both plant the tree and sit in its shade"? Is there a way to listen to that inner voice and still see the results of your work in this world? This is where the conversation moves from philosophy to strategy. Passion is necessary, but it's not enough. What usually separates a talented unknown person from someone who becomes globally successful is timing and the ability to see things others don't. That's exactly what The Art of Surfing Waves is about. Dorie Clark, in her brilliant book, The Long Game, says the world is full of trends and currents that are just beginning to form but aren't visible yet. Like a wave in the middle of the ocean that slowly gathers power. Most people wait until the wave becomes big and obvious, and only then try to ride it. But by then, it's already too late. The real player is the one who recognizes the wave when it's still just a small, barely noticeable ripple, and jumps on early. These waves always follow a certain pattern. They have 3 phases that we need to understand. The first phase is total indifference. This is the phase of loneliness, when you see something no one else sees, and that very insight separates you from others. A new technology, a different idea, or a new lifestyle emerges, but everyone else says, "What is this? It's useless. This is nonsense." But a few risk-takers enter exactly at this point. They may fail, but if they succeed, they become the ones who start an entirely new path. The second phase is mockery. The early entrants are taking the wave seriously and working on it, but others laugh at them and ridicule them. If people are laughing at you, congratulations. That means the wave is gaining strength and you've moved ahead of the rest. Interestingly, it's these resilient people right at this stage who are building the future, both for themselves and for those who will arrive later. Now we move on to the third phase, intense competition. This is where everyone has woken up. Everyone wants to take advantage of the wave. The market becomes crowded and saturated, and by then, it's already too late. We saw this phase clearly a few years ago in the stock market. When the noise around investing got loud, everyone rushed in. People sold their houses and cars and brought their money into the market. But at that point, it was already too late. The real profits had been taken long before. So if you truly want to see the results of your effort, you have to enter in one of the first two phases, either when no one sees the wave yet, or when everyone is laughing at it. But above all these strategies, there's a deeper perspective, one that questions the entire timeline of our lives. Carl Jung, one of the fathers of psychoanalysis, has a remarkable quote that may sound a bit strange at first. He says that a person's real life begins after the age of 40. Before that, we are only practicing for that real life. The first time I read this, I thought it was just a kind of consolation for people who had grown older and still hadn't reached their goals. But when I looked deeper, I realized this was the insight of a great psychologist who understood something profound. Before 40, we are mostly busy pleasing others. We are busy building our masks, our roles, and our position in a game that was written by others, not by us. Who? Society, family, culture. We're acting in a play whose script we didn't write ourselves. But at some point, when you get tired of proving yourself to everyone else, a simple but important question forms in your mind. Is this really me? Or what I've been asked to be my whole life? This is exactly the turning point. The place where real life may finally begin. Not with the excitement and noise of youth, but with a pause, a second look, with the deep understanding that the world doesn't owe us anything. From here on, we begin to build. We write our own rules of the game, and we stop waiting for someone else to perform a miracle for us. I want to be honest with you. These words are not meant to guarantee your success. The truth is, life can be truly cruel sometimes, and many great people never reached the place they deserved. You can call it fate, luck, or whatever you like, but what really matters is the next move. So if one night you're lying on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, and that cursed feeling of falling behind suddenly hits you, pause for a moment. Put the phone down. Forget that virtual point-scoring game and ask yourself one real question. Listen, life is not a video game with a save button. We can't go back and fix our mistakes. But there's a bigger truth. The move you're going to make tomorrow is always more important than the mistake you made yesterday. One of the people who understood this truth with his whole being was Charles Bukowski, a writer who spent almost his entire life in poverty and alcohol and only experienced a strange kind of success toward the end of his life. If the image of your future still isn't clear, If you still don't know exactly which path you should take, this isn't necessarily a sign of failure. Maybe it simply means you're still practicing for the beginning of your real life. Now, if you want to know how to turn everything in your favor by changing your perspective, I strongly recommend watching this program. Remember, you're not just watching a video. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. So I'll see you in the next video, my friend.